guys. I might be live, I might not. I'm looking to see if I can see you guys on my iPad as people are wondering how to get to us. If you are live with us now, yay, I'm excited to see you. Not that I can see you. But questions for the day. Dun, 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 dun. Check my agenda. Questions for the day. Oh, I see something. Oh, there's no call-in number for Lucille. This is where we're at, so yay. Okay, are you concerned about viruses at this point? Are you concerned as to whether or not your immune system is compromised? Do you want to know best how to protect yourself? Have you ever heard of the terrain theory of wellness? If you answered yes to those questions, or even no to one of those questions, you're in the right place. Either way, you're in the right place. Who am I? My name is Adam Bigelsen. I'm a holistic wellness coach. I am the son of Dr. Harvey Bigelsen, the author of this excellent book, Holographic Blood, groundbreaking. And this is actually Doctors Are More Harmful Than Germs, and I think it's in Korean on this one. Yay, so multiple languages. Who am I? I am here to share some information with you. There's a lot of stuff going on these days, and when we have our clinics open, we dealt with things a specific way. My dad was famous in the 90s for his results with cancer work, and the results he got were based on everything he did. It was based on Bigelsen and the terrain theory of wellness. Now, Western medicine is based on Pasteur. And Pasteur is the germ theory of disease. So germ theory basically talks about the germs are the primary causal agents of disease. Now, Bigelsen did not agree with that. He said that it was the terrain. So it's not the germ, but it's the terrain that the germ lives in. So if the terrain is out of balance, then bad things will grow. Now, we don't believe anything is bad. We believe all things are there to help you. But as far as terrain is concerned, if you think about fish tank and your water in the fish tank, very simple, pH is out of balance, and then bad things grow, okay? If you look at your garden and your soil, which is literally the terrain, the earth there, depending on the balance of things like pH as well, then you'll get more parasites. Invasive parasites are one thing, but parasites typically are there to help depending on what's going on. So, for example, worms. Worms are a parasite. In a garden, they aerate the soil and they fertilize and they help to get rid of some other things as well. So this is what we're talking about as far as the terrain theory of health and wellness. Looking at the body, it's the same exact thing. As we are mostly liquid or water, things out of balance like pH can throw things into a point where the body adapts. Now, Bigelsen looked at these little microscopic organisms in the blood. Gunther Enderlein talked about this too. We call them somatids, and they're the building blocks of everything. They have been found in plants, animals, minerals. They do not die. They help us to create who we are, and they help us to decompose. There is no name for them in Western medicine, so you know there's probably something to it. Plato actually talked about these organisms. When our father first saw these in the blood, this is one of the things that changed his life. Now, there's the theory of pleomorphism. And pleomorphism looks at these symbionts, and let me show you this image here real quick. If you look at this, this is pleomorphism. At the top, you have your somatids. Those are what we call symbionts. They've been called microzymas, bions, lots of different names throughout history. What this chart talks about is, based on the pH of the terrain, these little guys, somatids, can change into bacteria and then change into fungus, okay? Now, this is what goes on in our body. When things are out of balance, then bacteria comes into the picture, and eventually if things get trapped, inflammation gets trapped, then we have fungus. Basically, you start to mold. My father looked at cancer as a mold, basically. Now, one of the things our father did was he used the microscope, looked at the blood, found blocks in the body, helped to remove those blocks, and then as the body started to flow, pleomorphism is able to be reversed. So these symbionts change into bacteria and fungus when things are out of balance. When things return to balance, then they change back from fungus to bacteria, back into healthy symbionts. Okay, this is what we did in our clinics. with everybody. We moved a block, helped restore balance, and things went back to normal. The people doing regenerative agriculture are doing this with the earth. It's awesome. With your fish tank, you balance your pH out and things go back to normal, okay? This is why virus is not a huge concern at this point in time for me, for people that believe in the wellness theory. If it's not the germ theory, then why are we so focused on a germ at this point? Okay. Now, I want to bring our wonderful guest into play here. She's brilliant and she can help add pieces to our puzzle. Ana Maria Oliva, and let me get rid of this picture here and bring her in. She is if I can get all this right, here she comes. She's a PhD in biomedicine. She has a master's in biomedical engineering. She is an author, international author. Her latest book, 9 Souls, will be in English very soon. Yay, first book ever in English. She's an international speaker. She has lectured in Israel and Argentina and Mexico. And where else have you lectured, Anna? There's a list.
India, the last one, India and the Netherlands, and yeah, many places. Cuba.
Cuba, nice. Okay. So this woman, educated and has been around the world. We met each other after the first lecture Josh and I did in Balaguer. One of our mutual friends put us together with Anna and a couple other brilliant scientists to do some experimentation. And Anna brought an interesting energy device, and we looked at some blood before and after. And she's definitely brought some pieces of the puzzle together for us. At this point, she's a fan of the blood and what we do. Yay. She's also working with a Russian scientist who actually developed a device for the Mir space station. So we now have Anna on our team as our resident scientist. So if you want to try to punch holes in our theory, we'll sick Anna on you and she'll tear you apart. All right. So with all that being said, this is a wonderful introduction. Anna, you can tell us a little bit about yourself, and then let's talk about, viruses and pleomorphism and how that fits into the picture.
Okay. So thank you. I'm very glad to be here. And I'm a little bit in the future of what is happening in the United States at this moment. So the first thing I want to say is don't panic. Nice. Don't be afraid, because here people are becoming totally crazy. And I think that there is a big misinformation. So we need to say, the first thing I want to tell you is that viruses are not alive, are not living beings. It's just a piece of information, like a telegram, just a piece of DNA or RNA that is just information. They are not alive. They are not going to jump at you when you are walking on the street. So don't be afraid of that.
Yeah, settle down.
This is the first thing I want to say, because many people are thinking in viruses as they were lions, that they are waiting and they are going to just attack you. No, viruses are not going to attack you. First of all, because they are not even alive. Okay. What are viruses? Viruses is just a piece of information. It's just a piece of what we call DNA, and they have like a shell. Okay. And they cannot live by themselves. When they go into a host is when they use the host to start changing the information. But we are made of viruses and bacteria. Most of the people think that viruses and bacteria are things that are outside. But you have to think, and this is something that it totally changed my perception of everything. When I started doing my PhD thesis, I was very like squared minds, like very orthodox.
She was square.
Yes, I'm an engineer, so I'm quite square. So I was thinking as most of the people think, that the germs are the cause of the diseases. And I was wanting, my thesis was about creating an electric antibiotic. That was my goal. And in the meanwhile, the first book, I was working with a microbiologist. And the first book he gave me to start reading, because I'm an engineer, so I had to read a lot about microbiology to understand things. So the first book he gave me was a book that in the first paragraph said, what you call your human body is just, it only has the 10% of your cells are human cells. The 90% of your cells are bacteria.
Mhm.
Just this sentence made me crazy for 1 month. Say, oh my God, so what am I? I mean, what we are calling me and why I'm saying that bacteria are bad or are enemies if 90% of my own body is made of bacteria.
Right.
But it's not only this. The other 10% that you say, okay, at least the 10% of me is me.
Right.
It's not these bodies that are living with me. So the 10% of what I can say, okay, this is human. All these eukaryotic cells are made basically of more bacteria and viruses.
Sure.
100% of our genes,
Genes. Yes.
genome, okay,
Uh-huh.
thank you, is made of bacteria or genes. Or viruses. 100% of the characteristics of the features that any cell has becomes from bacteria or viruses because they are us. As you have also in a t-shirt or
Yep.
germs
Germs
are
are
us.
us. Yep. Germs are
Literally,
us. Yeah.
literally, because 90% of our bodies is directly bacteria, and the rest, the 10%, is made of combinations of DNA of viruses and bacteria. The DNA, the viral DNA, is in us, and
Right.
our body activates this in certain moments. For what purpose? For the
Right.
purpose of balancing the body again. When the
Gotcha.
environment, what you call the terrain, has been under aggression,
Hmm.
has been damaged, then these viruses and these bacteria become active and they start changing the behavior with the purpose of rebalancing everything. So
Right.
we never should be scared of microorganisms because they've been here
Right.
before we knew them. I mean,
Sure.
the thing is pretty funny in fact, because what you have is that bacteria and viruses are why life exists. Life
Right.
exists thanks to that. If
Right.
they didn't exist, we didn't exist.
Sure.
It's so easy. And the thing is that suddenly we create a microscope. And when we created a microscope, someone could see something that was like, how do you call that? In the scene of the crime.
Yeah. Right.
You,
Okay.
okay, how do you call that when someone in
Scene
a
of the
movie?
scene of the crime. Sure.
Okay, so they found them there. So okay, you are here. There is something wrong, and you are here. You are guilty,
Right.
and that's perfect because human beings love to blame
Right. Sure.
other people and love to blame what is outside of everything wrong that happens in me. So that's perfect. I
Right.
have someone or something that I can blame of everything instead of being aware that it's my responsibility to become healthy because my
Sure.
body is designed to be always healthy,
Right.
always.
Right.
Life is designed to be alive.
And that's important. Like, it's nature does nothing in vain, is what my father used to say. The body doesn't attack itself, which is why we don't believe in autoimmune. There's an imbalance, definitely, but at this point, things are going on and our bodies respond. The biggest thing that people are talking about now, at least, is compromised immune systems. So if your immune system is compromised, well, you're susceptible to all kinds of things, right?
Yes.
So what is it then that we can do as far as strengthening our immune system? Simply enough, let's look at this simply, like with the garden and the water. Balance. It's about balance. And like
Mhm.
just told us that viruses are part of us, so it's not about being afraid of this. And actually, what does fear do to your whole sympathetic parasympathetic experience?
Fear is one of the worst things you can feel because it's going to make you out of balance. I want
Mhm.
to say something about what you were saying because we say many times that the immune system, and we think in the immune system as the army.
Yeah.
Since we have an enemy outside, we need an army to get to be, to keep them there under control. And
Sure.
the immune system is not an army. It's not
Yeah.
something that is killing things. Our immune system is a regulatory system.
You got it. Regulatory system, people, not defense system. Words are power. Think about things differently.
Yeah, it's not defense because we don't need to be defended. It's because
Right.
there is no attack. So there is
Right.
no way that we need anything to defend. What
Sure.
we need is to adapt.
Right. You got it.
That
You
is
got it.
what Lamarck Darwin and Lamarck. Lamarck was always saying the same. It's not. Darwin was saying life is a competition and evolution is a competition.
Right.
And Lamarck was saying, no, you're wrong. This is not a competition. It's a cooperation.
Yes.
But we have in our background, we have this feeling that the other is the enemy, and we have the feeling of scarcity.
Right.
And scarcity is another very, very important thing. And we are seeing that now in Spain. You know that in Spain we are confined at home.
Yeah.
You have no idea. The toilet paper has disappeared. The food has disappeared because people have this feeling of scarcity.
Right.
And it's about, or it's you or it's me. I'm sorry, it's your family or my family. So I have to take care of my family because it's only me.
Right.
And it's not enough. So for me, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
And this is the first thing we start to reflect about, because life is not a fight.
Right.
And so as it is outside, so inside. So the same way that we shouldn't fight outside, we shouldn't fight inside.
Yeah. Herring's law, as above, so below. And it's so simple. If you realize that this is not a fight inside of us, then you should be able to relax and breathe a little easier. And even when you're in fear, that's your fight or flight. That's literally sympathetic experience. So when you do this, you tense up, it inhibits circulation and respiration, and you can't heal at that point. So you're more susceptible. So understanding that the germ is not attacking, you can breathe a little better, that's important. And even I see Rick Love there. Hey, Rick, talks about it affects our kidneys and blood. We align so much with Chinese medicine and organs with different emotions. So when you just have that sigh of relief, it's good for your health. So people really understand this. And even on the bigger scale, like Ana said, we probably have an extra piece of toilet paper if someone needs a piece of toilet paper. Okay. The reality is it's not about us being isolated and things inside being isolated. Dad said that medicine lost it when it became too specialized. We talk about Rudolf Steiner's 4 bodies: structural, energetic, emotional, and spiritual. And if you want to be strong right now, if you want your immune system to be as best as it can be, you should be structurally aligned. So go see an osteopath, get some body work done, take care of the system at this point. As far as energy is concerned, acupuncture is great for removing energetic blocks. Energy in general and emotions, joy. I'm playing my guitar as much as I can in the midst of all this. Call a friend. This to me is joy, to be able to talk with you and share information for people that can help them relax in the midst of this whole crazy experience. I get joy out of that. And these things are important. So for people that are listening, what else can we do, Ana? And even talking about if it's environment. Okay, our environment's a little crazy right now. So starting at home, create a nice environment. I'm with my family now, which is great. Relax and enjoy things. The environment outside is one thing. Thinking about where this new virus came from, Wuhan has an environment that's a little toxic.
Horrible. A little, no, it's totally toxic.
Totally toxic.
I don't remember how many, but I think it's about 17 million people living there in one of the cities that has the biggest concentration of factories there, that the air is so polluted, and they have the 5G.
Right, yeah. Even the cruise ships they were talking about, on the cruise ships, those cruise ships have 5G. And there's definitely a connection there. We are electrical beings. As much as we are emotional beings. So the thing is, these things are going to happen. 5G is going to be around. So the reality is, and tell me this as a scientist, is it true that the more joy I get and happier I am, the more protected I am?
Yes.
It sounds silly.
No, it's not at all, because you have to think which is the real nature of you and of nature in general. I mean, nature never makes mistakes, never. Right. So our body never makes a mistake. So which is your real nature? Your real nature is being joyful and being peaceful. That's our nature. The rest is that we feed ourselves in the wrong way. But we feed ourselves in the physical, in the emotional, in the mental, and in the spiritual, if you want. Right. aspects of our lives, we are feeding ourselves in very, very wrong ways. And my biggest concern, or probably concern in this time with this coronavirus, is not the virus itself. I'm not scared at all of the virus.
Right.
It's the fear of people, and it's the stress that, because people are feeding their minds just with fear and with information that is not creating anything good in you.
Right.
So I was telling the other day, okay, information is there and reality is there, but you can choose how do you feed your mind and your emotions and your physical body and your energy body all the time. That's your responsibility.
Yeah.
Because that's a problem. Now I'm sorry, I'm fed up of all the WhatsApp groups that are just sharing the conspiracy theories and all the stuff and the viruses and how many people are dying. Today, a few hours ago, I posted something that says, do you realize how many people have recovered, totally recovered? I think it's 50 something thousand people that have been recovered. So why don't we share that too?
Yeah, that's a good question. I saw that you posted that, and it was nice. It was like, oh, at least a little positive in the midst of all this chaos.
Yeah.
It's
And it's
tough.
our responsibility, and it's yours and my responsibility to feed myself with something that is a good food.
Yeah.
So it's my choice. Being all the time reading the news that are creating panic is my choice.
Right.
One thing is being informed. Okay, I know what is happening outside. I know that I cannot leave my home.
Sure.
I know that the police is there, is running, and there are speakers saying, "Don't go out of your place. This is
Wow.
unsafe." Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it's like being in a movie.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's quite scaring. And when I went to the beach yesterday, and there was a woman that was yelling at me and insulting me, saying, "You're crazy." Why did you say? Okay, I cannot avoid reality, but I can choose.
Sure.
Where I do put my intention and my energy. And I'm not going to be all the time reading how many people are giving like positive in the test, that who knows which test are we doing, because that's another thing. That's another thing, but that's not the question today.
Right.
So, but it's our responsibility and is our power.
Yeah. Well, and let's go back a little bit too to the pleomorphism experience. It is interesting to me because it's tough to get joy in the midst of all this craziness. For me, it's like I have to stop going on Facebook, or I'm unfriending people that are posting fear. I feel for people because they want to post good information, but now people are attacking each other, blah, blah, blah. Back to the reality of this. Not afraid of the virus, okay? People and their social experience is a whole different thing. But to talk about in the pleomorphism experience, when does a virus come into play, actually? This is things, my dad, we knew a lot from working with dad. We don't know all of it. It's not all Greek to me, but if viruses are microscopic and they're bacteria and we're into the terrain theory, then we're not afraid of them. But how do they come into pleomorphism? Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, more or less. You have to think in viruses and bacteria as Lego.
Legos. Okay.
Pieces in a Lego. Okay. Yeah,
Perfect.
the virus is like the small one. It's just a piece of information that can be the square that is just one. Okay.
Gotcha.
And when you combine this piece one with another piece one with another that can be different colors or different shapes even, you can start building things. The first thing that you can build that makes sense itself with this chain is a gene that is going to finally create a bacteria.
Right.
Okay, because the gene is not the bacteria, but the gene is what has the instructions about how to build a bacteria.
Okay.
So you can think in Legos like that. So from there, the pleomorphism is very easy because every organism is made just but the same basic Lego pieces that you just put names to things. Okay, you can, for example, imagine that you build a house. And you can put the name of just one single piece and say, okay, this is a virus, or this is a DNA and a nucleic acid. Okay, that is the building block of a DNA.
Right.
And then you have a wall.
Okay.
And this wall, you can say, okay, this is a virus. And when you have 4 walls with a ceiling or with a roof and with blah, 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 and the windows and the door, you say, okay, this is a bacteria. But what is it made of? the
Gotcha.
same basic
Okay.
thing.
Gotcha.
Okay, it's not perfect. The analogy is not
Sure.
perfect.
Sure. It's
But
good for those of us that are not totally scientists. I know Legos.
okay, so everything is built by these little pieces of information.
Okay. Right.
Okay, so where do they come from? Well, there is a little bit of, let's say, at least in my knowledge, there is like a little gap, because what I know is these microzymes,
Mhm.
this that Besham described, these little balls that are just shiny,
Right.
they are what they call precursors. Precursors.
Precursors. Yep. Yes.
Sometimes
Yep.
I do some Spanglish. I'm sorry.
Precursor. Good English. Nice job.
So they are precursors of the DNA, but they don't have DNA inside them. But what is interesting is that these symbionts, these microzymes, sometimes they open up,
Mhm.
and then you have a virus.
Interesting.
It
Interesting.
is interesting. I don't know how, because I'm still reading Besham's book, and then I want you
Sure.
to read with me.
Sure. 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 Yeah. You sent it to
And to
Josh.
share
Or,
and to talk
yeah.
about that, because I think it's quite interesting, because this connection. But once you have the virus, the rest is very easy, because it just is like a Lego.
Right. A Lego.
And now they say, okay, we build houses. So we build
Yeah.
houses. Why? Because we need to do. So now we need a broom. So because we
Gotcha.
need to sweep.
Sweet.
So we build a broom just to sweep the
To clean
garbage.
stuff up, to clean up the garbage. Right. Yeah.
Basically,
So
basically.
all literally building blocks. And it's important at this point to see the big picture instead of focusing on that little thing. And
Yeah,
even if it's
sorry, one example that probably some people can know. For example, the connection of the candida. You know that the candida is a big deal. Sometimes it becomes trendy.
ooh, big deal, scary.
Yeah,
Yep.
from time to time it becomes trendy, the candida, and everybody wants to kill the candida. And the,
Right.
the thing is that the candida is there because you have a lot of metals in your mouth.
There's something
So
going on.
in
Yeah,
your
there's
mouth, or in your
stagnation.
teeth, or that you are eating things that have a lot of these heavy metals, or these metals that they shouldn't be there, and the
Right.
candida goes to just eat them. So if you kill the
Sure.
candida,
Right.
you make it that your body is full of
Dead
garbage.
candida. Yeah. Well, and that's a big deal. Josh talked about that because he had to go through the diet once with something that was going on with him. And
Mhm.
for us, we can see it in the blood, but we don't care. If it's there, we just know we're not going to attack it. There's an environment that allows it to live there. So if we kill it, yeah, then you've got the die-off symptoms and all that kind of stuff, which is horrible. But if you release the blocks, it's there eating food. You're right. So there's a stagnation somewhere. There's food created. It eats the food. If we release the block, the food disappears and the candida goes away. It's really simple like that. And let me ask you this too. You came across us with the blood. You've come across some really interesting things in your time with these devices and the science and blah, blah, blah. Um, what do you think of the blood and what we do in relation to what's going on and what we're discussing? What do you think? What's your
Well,
insight opinion on that?
well, for me, what you think is really awesome. I'm used to my focus is always in the electromagnetic vision of health. That's my expertise. That I know how to do. I know how to measure electricity in your body. But when I could see, it's magical, because you can see the inner environment, and that's
Yeah,
something that nobody can show you. I
yeah,
can show you your energy channels, and an acupuncturist can also check that, but nobody can show you with images. And the images are so important. And
yeah.
once you can see by yourself what is happening inside you, this is something that you never forget. I think that the first time you see in the microscope the blood, and you see that is like galaxies.
Yeah, yeah.
It's literally as it is. So how do you say that?
As above, so below.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. It's literally that.
Yeah.
This is something that is wow, that's awesome. But at the same time, I've never seen a tool that is so powerful, or as powerful as what you do, in terms of detecting the root cause. Because you know
Nice.
that everybody talks
Nice.
about the root cause. I also talk about the root cause. And I know that with my devices, I can understand a lot about you,
Yeah.
a lot,
Yeah.
especially about emotions and these other kind of factors that also affect you a lot. But when I saw what I've seen working with you with the blood,
Mhm.
that's so awesome. It's so awesome that I
Makes
think,
it simple, doesn't
yeah, it's well, it's simple. I mean, let's say
it?
let's say it's simple if you know how to read that.
Sure.
because you know that there are many people outside that are saying that they are doing microscope, and what they're doing is just creating more fear in
Yeah.
the patients and just creating them the needs of continue working with them.
Sure. 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 Sure.
You know, but what I saw when we were working, and we have some patients that we've been working together, and I saw the power of what you are doing, and the possibility of creating that story that can connect all the dots. This, you have to have a lot of experience to do that. That's
Right.
one of the things.
Sure.
And the other
Yeah.
thing is that it's extremely positive, because
Yeah.
it gives you a real insight about you.
Right. Right.
You know, many times we think we know, we have these intuitions about what is happening, but when you can see that and you say, I remember when you checked me and you told me, wow, you're very tired, and I say, yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you
Right.
don't want to see that, or you don't want to know that, or you, yeah, and you say,
Sure.
you put that there and you say, okay, this is what is happening. And this has an extraordinary value in pedagogical, educational terms, and also in health.
Yeah. I'm glad you saw it. It's a fun thing for us to do. And it's nice. It really, at this point, I think is one of the simplest things you can do to really see where you're at. And for people that are out there, we are doing our distance consultations. So you can go to the website. Where is my website? Thebigelsenmethods.com. There we go. Let me get all this mess off the screen here. You can go there and you can send us an email. You can become a member of our private association. We can do consultations. But it is so simple. We don't look for viruses in the blood. As we look at the blood, we're looking for imbalances. And as we see those root causes and address those therapeutically, then flow starts to happen and things start to go away. There's a few people that piped in here. Let's see, David. So heavy metals in the mouth can be considered a blockage to the flow, which creates a stagnation. The mouth is an interesting one because you can have metal in the mouth, and that definitely can be an issue. Most of the time, there are heavy metals because there is some stagnation. And for us, we'll see, that type of stuff. We don't look for it. We're looking for that block, the tree that falls into the river, and the stagnation accumulates. The debris accumulates. So it's
Can I,
simple.
can I can I share a little bit what happened with my mouth too?
Sure.
Because the first time, one of the times that you checked my blood, one thing that was appearing once and again and again and again was teeth.
Yeah.
And when I went to the dentist, I realized that I had a tooth that was dead. I didn't know that.
Right.
I didn't know that. And it seems that I had a big infection there. And I remember once that you checked my blood and I asked you, what is this? Because there was so many living things there moving that were not red blood cells,
Right.
that looked like a lot of bacteria or things like that. And I was a little bit afraid of that. And I
Sure.
asked you told me, no, don't put attention on that. Let's
Right.
work on the mouth. So I went to the dentist. I removed that tooth that was full of infection, and it was bothering the body. And when we removed that, little by little, my body became healthy.
Right.
And that all horrible things that show that bodies, that bugs that appear in the blood, they disappeared. And for
Yeah.
me, that was very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
Very beautiful to see, because I could focus in the infection and blame the infection about my tooth, and was the opposite. The infection, what was doing the infection at that moment
Sure.
was making that my tooth was every time loose and loose and loose, and eventually will fall
Yeah. It'll fall
off.
right out. Yeah. It'll fall out. Yeah.
So the dentist did that quicker, and I struggled less with that. But it was very nice for me to see how I didn't need to work on my infection.
Yeah.
Just removing that block that was there, the body could deal with that very easily. And then my blood was totally healthy, a little
Yeah.
bit tired.
A little bit tired. Yep. We're all human. We're all a little bit tired. Dad said he's never seen the Messiah's blood, so there's
Okay.
no such
Well,
thing as
that's a
perfect blood. Yeah. Yeah. No such thing as perfect blood. Well, cool, Anna. Awesome information. As we've done what we've done for years, we've done it more or less by ourselves. So meeting you was great because you're in the world of science and you really see what we have as valuable, and you're really helping us with that. So it's awesome to have you on the team. For people watching today, the reality is things are a little strange in the environment right now. So do your best to keep your environment where you're at as joyful as possible. And look at the big picture. These things will pass. Um, know yourself. If you're concerned about your immune system, well, do you align your car once a year? Do you align your body? The osteopathic work is huge for us. Acupuncture, awesome. Dad did a combination of things, and that's when he really started to get great results. As he combined things like acupuncture with osteopathy. He would release scars and then align the body. But joy is important. You heard from the scientists today. This is energy we can start to measure in the body these days. And the more energy you've got going on, the less susceptible you are to these outside experiences. I wish I had my picture of the fincas, the farms. We should have a picture of a farm in Spain. You can see one small green plot and all these other brown plots. And the brown ones use the glyphosate, the Roundup and the poisons. And that one is green, 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 surrounded by all this poison. But that soil is too strong for the poison to affect it. Okay. Dad used to lecture in the 80s with a guy when the HIV virus was a big deal. That virus was a big deal. And this guy would have people that were HIV positive stick themselves with a needle, and he would stick himself with that same needle because he knew that his terrain was too strong for that virus. There's no food for that virus in him. All right. So we're hoping that you're less afraid of the virus and what's going on there, and you're more concerned with being healthy. Right? Yeah.
That's it. The virus is not alive. Don't be afraid of it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So
be afraid of your thoughts and your feelings.
Oh God, don't go there. Yes, that can we help you with your thoughts and your feelings. Food is a great distraction. Yay. Play some music. That's what I'm doing, which is great.
And be active, be physically active. Go outside. One of the things that I'm, let's say, upset with this situation is that now that we are confined at home, we cannot go outside and we cannot be under the sun. And the sun, it has a very protective effect in our health.
Sure.
The sun is very necessary, not only because of vitamin D, it also makes that the viruses
right.
go down, and we cannot say kill them because they are not alive. You cannot kill them,
right.
But they make them like they don't do anything. They inactivate. The sun inactivates
nice.
the viruses and everything. So
yeah.
be active, move. So now that we cannot go outside, we cannot walk, we cannot run, we cannot bike, and then we have to be without sun. So
right.
That's the real nightmare.
Yeah. Well, can we listen to frequencies? There are different frequencies out there. Like we just captured the frequency of vitamin D.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So we can do. So people out there, you can go on YouTube and download some nice frequency stuff and listen to that. Everything is vibration, anyways. And the reality is, what my family and my dad did with his blood, people would think bordered on metaphysical. This is good science. And there's science behind the joy experience. Okay. Looking at comments, Rick again, nature grounding our emotions, and the electricity that has to deal with nature. Also a big deal for us. I learned in Spain a little bit about seawater, so I've been drinking a little seawater to help with the energy.
Grounding, walk barefoot.
Yeah, walking barefoot.
Walk barefoot, breathe.
You got it.
Qigong.
Thank God for Qigong. Yes, every day I've been doing my
yoga or whatever helps you to be, because this also helps you to be aligned in your structure and also moves your energy a lot. So this is something that we should do every day.
Yes, you got it. I've been doing my singing, and my vocal toning chakra exercises, which for those of you that want to do it, it's on our Facebook page. Watch and do the exercise with me.
And it's also that video that you have, it's also like a breathing technique because it helps you to breathe and to make that you have more oxygen in your body, which is very necessary.
Yeah. Sing, relax, breathe. As we get tight, we get afraid, we don't breathe. Oxygen is important to us. Yay.
And laugh.
And what?
Laugh as much as you can.
Laugh.
Just share funny things too. Put this.
Yes. Oh, you're right. Holy cow. Cat videos. For everyone watching, go watch some stupid cat videos for a few minutes. I forgot about that. I was thinking that this morning. I'm going to go watch some stupid cat videos. There's some great bird videos too. Watch those. And
Well, the good thing now with this virus here is that you know that Spaniards sometimes we laugh about everything, even the most serious thing. And there are so many funny things now about the toilet paper, about you know the procesiones of Semana Santa, the Easter, how do you call that?
Easter parade.
The Easter celebrations that we do here, and there are so many funny things that thanks God we have this humor sense, you know. So.
Yep, lighten up, people. Relax a little bit. Yeah, get the joy. No, I think that's important. And remember, I posted the warning about your cash. You know, your cash could be infected, so put it in a bag and call me, and I will come pick it up from you and dispose of it
I
properly.
can do the same in this area. If someone has cash here, I offer myself to pick it.
Okay. So here's Anna's website. Please feel free to go there. If you go with Google Chrome, you can get it translated because the translation is not working at the moment on her site. But Ana does wonderful things. And I'm thrilled that she was on the show today. We'll do more with Ana most definitely. In conclusion, you know, for us, we're about the terrain theory. It's not the germ, it's the terrain. So we really hope that gives you some relief today. Get some joy. People that showed up. Rick, nice to see you. Janet Lee, yay, awesome to have you there too. Anna, excellent. David Van, cool. It's funny, I see my dad's name popping up because the family is on that website there. Javier, Muriel, good to see everyone there. Please share this information while you are able to share this information. All right. Anything else you want to add to the picture, Anna?
We have the responsibility and the power of our health. Both things are the same, like the two sides of the same coin. If you realize that you are responsible, then you have the power, and that's your freedom. So I encourage people to just take this responsibility of the terrain is mine. So I have the power of changing the things, at least in this square meter that I have here.
Sure. Yep. Do your thing to strengthen your biofield here. For us, we're around. Like I said, if you want to go to our website, you can do that. And we are doing our educational consultations. You know, coming from Anna the scientist, she thinks it's a good thing for you to do to see what's going on in your inner environment.
Yeah.
Typically, we validate what you've thought all along. And it's really nice to be validated in how conscious you are in relation to your body. So, send us an email if you feel so inclined. We are here to help. We'll be doing more of these shows, and as long as we're stuck inside, hopefully we can connect more and more. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Anna, once again, you're awesome. People go check out her website, and we will see you again soon. Thank you for tuning into the Blood Diaries.